Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities and Miniatures, and it's time once more for me to attempt to clear out my Kingdom Death backlog. So I just had my Gambler's Chest arrive the other day, and I've been trying to sort through that and get stuff built, and as fun as that's been, I need to clear out some of these boxes because they're really starting to pile up. And you know, once upon a time I used to be really good about this, and I had really finished a ton of them. And I mean, I really do. I have quite a lot of finished Kingdom Death models. But anyways, just got my updated Forsaker in the mail. So I figure, you know what, why don't we start clearing stuff out? What a perfect model to get things rolling again. And hopefully I can go find my own Forsaker, or worst case scenario, we'll find Sparkle Trouts. But these are more of those photo resin models, and at least I can say with utmost certainty that if you see anything in this video that you like, chances are you'll probably be able to get it again down the line. These photo resin models are all technically 3D printed, and I gotta say, as these releases have been continuing, the quality has definitely kicked up quite a bit. So if you see anything, like I said, chances are it'll be available again because they'll make new batches at some point. I've seen quite a few of these models cycle in and out of the store at this point. So don't pay those exorbitant, eBay prices or whatever. Chances are you'll get it. So what do we have today? We've got the Forsaker. We've got Gunboard. We got the Wrecker. Vitavox or Vitanvox or something like that. And Skrell, who actually is a plastic kit and just ended up in the pile. And I think I actually have a few plastic kits still floating around in my garage somewhere. Maybe I should deal with those. As always, you've got your postcard along with other stuff. I don't even know what's included, so let's see. We've got a settlement event card, a science card. Let's see the figure proper. Nice. We have a custom base insert. I always enjoy seeing those on these figures. And a lot of tiny bits. I do like we've got the weird mushroomy leaf thingies growing all along the outside of the base. She seems to be wearing a nice tattered long skirt. Would make a good herbalist or scout if you wanted to go that route. With her tool belt there. Lots of little pieces. I have absolutely no idea where they go. Hopefully there is going to be some instructions on the Kingdom Death website. And if there aren't, well, it's not like we haven't built countless dozens at this point anyways. Taking a look at what is her name here? Vitanvox. Okay, something with a Banshee. Banshee loincloth. Okay, well, that doesn't look like much of a loincloth, but if she says so. So you can see here, not a whole lot of cleanup is going to be necessary, especially for a 3D print. I can see there's one little support right there under her chin, but you can't see like those styration lines everywhere like some of the early releases had. There's kind of funky headdress going on there. It's kind of cool. Hopefully I'm not going to break her in the process of filming things. Interesting armor there on her knees. And then the usual blades. She's got a lantern in one hand. I'm guessing this is a scabbard for another. She's pulling one blade out, and I have absolutely no idea where that tail is going to go, and hopefully it didn't break off of something. We'll find out. Wrecker here has a very large box. I'm hoping he's a regular sized figure. Again, one of the very few men we see in Kingdom Death. Stone Wrecker. Oh, close enough. He's literally fighting with a pillar. If you painted him green, he'd make a great Hulk, probably. Again, for a 3D print, guys, that's pretty decent. Yeah, you can see where the supports were removed at the bottom, but, I mean, Come on. I love hearing people on like, oh, well, if I did it, it wouldn't look like that. I don't know what kind of print jobs you guys are putting out. Like, I feel like mine are decent, but even then, mine are nothing in comparison to this. The remainder of the column slots in nice and easily. And lantern and loincloth for him. Gunborg, one I was absolutely looking forward to. Looks neat. I believe this is one of his new Korean artists. I can't think of the name off the top of my head, but I remember seeing art that was very similarly done. And I think I follow a lot of those artists as it is on Instagram. Wouldn't surprise me. Alright, what is here? As I attempt to get other stuff out of the way. We have the main figure. See, she's pretty armored up. And again, even with this as a print, there are lots of little nice engraved details. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be an earring or a support. We'll double check on that. She's going to be a big model. She feels quite tall. Just grabbing a random Conquest model. Conquest are big models as it is, so when she can go head-to-head with an undead Conquest figure, that's a good size model. Here we have her cape. I am assuming that is fur of some sort, and I am trying to film and my phone is going crazy with notifications of people at work. Okay, I'm not at work right now. Stop, people. And then she's got a big nightmare-esque sword. That's going to be pretty neat. So, again, further helping to dispel the rumor that all the Kingdom Death models are the same. You'll notice she's fully clothed. She's wearing armor, practical armor at that. And she's carrying a big honkin' weapon. And we also have her offhand and an extra sword in a scabbard. I was going to say, what? No lantern? But then I realized it's not in focus. It's hanging there on her belt. I just noticed that the sword actually has a mouth and tongue. Okay. And then finally, the one that actually started it all. The Forsaker was the very first Kingdom Death model released. Man, I was so close. So close. What a shame. A return of the original art. It would have been cool to see an updated piece of art for him, but that's okay. I just finished my pinup Forsaker. I can remember seeing these available for sale way back when. Wow. So size-wise, he is a little bit taller, and he's not even standing all the way up in comparison to Gunborg. And she's quite tall already, but this is a thick, chunky model. Look at the details on that armor. A little bit of cleanup here and there might be necessary. Tiny supports in need of removal. I love the feeling of this resin that they use. Photo resin. I don't think there's any new cards included with this guy, but that's okay. Offhand. I often get the Butcher and Forsaker mixed up, but I believe they were related. I'm going to keep that cloak unattached for the time being, just to make my life easier for trying to paint him, but I think we can go ahead and attach the arms. He's going to really take up that base. I'm looking forward to building him too. Looks nice. Alright. I got my work cut out for me, so wish me luck. We're going to get everybody put together, and hopefully it's not going to take me another 2 months to finish everything here. So let's find out. Sit tight and we'll time myself. Well, folks, it's taken a while, but we have finally gotten around to finishing up the last batch of models, and I don't know if there's been at least another sale or two since. But let's take what progress we've made as progress nonetheless. Here's the Stone Wrecker. Really like this guy. I kept getting frustrated trying to figure out how to pose him on the base when I realized that there is actually an indentation right there for his foot. Yeah, it made sense. And it still impresses me just how smooth the texture is of all these rounded edges on him. You know, considering these are technically 3D printed figures, just the quality that they're getting out of these, especially when compared to the first few, it's pretty impressive. At least the 3D printed stuff, I mean. That seems to be kind of the norm moving forward. I don't know. I prefer the plastics, but I feel like the resins are going to be kind of a thing of the past. I could be wrong. What do I know? You know? And this is just a massive dude, you know. Here, grabbing a regular GW guy who was just in front of me, and naturally when I need to use him, he's not as tall as a bone eater, maybe. And he is kind of hunched over, so even in comparison to some of the newer Gambler's Chest stuff, or even some of the newer photo resin, I don't remember what the Mist Raken armor is. They're still pretty comparable there. Speaking of other big chonkers, the Forsaker. The detail on this guy, it is absolutely fantastic. And if you're really careful, which I tried to be, except not as much as I need to, because I can still see a support stuck in there. And that's going to have to get dealt with. You probably can actually get everything lined up ever so nice and carefully so that you can get that cape separate and get to painting everything on the back without having to worry about compromising the build or anything like that. And again, he's a big dude. We're just going to leave that cape over here. Vitanavox, if I am remembering the name correctly. I don't know what's up with her armor. I made an absolute mess trying to get that thing attached. You can see that. Hopefully the... What's it called? My mind went blank. Hopefully the primer can wash away some of that. One nice thing is you can see there is that nice squared off piece of debris for the base. That's going to help make a nice solid footprint for her. Not having to worry about things falling over so much. Our horticulturist, whose name escapes me. This girl was a pain in the butt in a couple of spots. Let's talk about the few that were an issue. Number one, figuring out where exactly her stick is supposed to go. Now you can see I don't really have her attached. I kind of just tried to line things up so that, like, she can use that walking stick as an extra point of balance. There we go. Eventually I'll get it right. Now the piece that actually threw me the most was trying to line up her hand with the little head that she's staring at in the eyes. And speaking of little head, the one that goes on her belt right there. Could not figure that out for the life of me. I did have to finally look at the photos online. Usually I can figure out these Kingdom Death figures, not so in that case. Heck, for all I know, maybe there's actually a build guide already available for her. I like her. She's kind of different. And actually that brings me to something I was kind of a little bummed out about with the recent Echoes of Death 4. You know, everything prior to that has, well, no, I'm already contradicting myself. I was going to say every set prior to that had their own unique armor, but then I'm like, the Archer's totally wearing Sunstalker armor. So I was going to say, you know, like, everybody's got unique stuff, but I guess that technically isn't the case. I really like some of the models in Echoes of Death 4, but I'm like, they're all just wearing Crimson Croc stuff. It's kind of boring. I really would have liked to have seen them wearing something a bit more original and unique. I mean, I'm being pretty picky. I didn't get it yet, but more out of the fact that I've just got so much Kingdom Death stuff, and there's always models. Like, I've barely scraped the surface of my Gambler's Chest. And I was going to do a video on the God Hand, and the Crimson Croc, and I don't know where I put the God Hand now, and I'm very sad because I was looking forward to painting him and giving you my wonderfully horrible rendition of the ending theme of God Hand. Oh god, that game. Already having flashbacks to it. Gunborg. Gunbjorg. I don't know how she wants to pronounce her name. Same issue that I have with the Forsaker. Trying to get everything lined up correctly. Because there are details there that are going to be actually behind that cloak of hers, and man, that is a nightmare sword. I am really looking forward to painting her. And there's a way, and I keep trying to figure it out. Okay, it's like, you need to... There we go. There we go. It'll go like that. If you are being ever so careful and gentle, you can actually get everything in. See, that sword there is really obscured by the cloak. I'm going to paint the cloak separately, obviously. We'll glue it on afterwards. And she will be good to go. We'll just leave her like that for the moment. And get it super zoomed in. I really like that model. And I mean, the sword, at least... I can't think of any other figures that have anything like that. She's a big model, too. Grab the pinup Forsaker. Get a good idea of the size there. And again, the Mr. Raken armor, and I've got Summer Lucy. I didn't do the best job on. But yeah, fun stuff to be had as always. And if you do enjoy any of these photo resin figures, take comfort in the fact that they tend to get cycled through the store fairly regularly. And if you're not familiar with the Kingdom Death brand, Black Fridays every year always bring about pretty nice steep discounts on sales. So if you see any of these figures in these videos, especially the photo resin stuff that I put before, that you really like, you know, there's a good opportunity. You might be able to get them for a much more reasonable price than usual. And I swear, with the way things have been continuing to go up in inflation, even these are getting more and more expensive, which kind of makes me second guess myself. I feel like I was paying like 20 bucks back in the day, which still seems significant, but I mean, there was slow and steady inflation, obviously, with these figures. And, you know, also, as I just continue to ramble about other things, the plastics, they tend to be around for a while. You know, you should be able to find them. So any of this stuff interests you, we always have that link down below. Take a look, enjoy it as much as I do. Hopefully you'll get it painted. And if you ever want to see any of the stuff that I painted, which I do tend to post fairly regularly if I actually have some free time, which is always questionable. I always put that hashtag weekly painting progress, which we always show off on Mondays as well. So if you want to see them, check them out. I'm sure these will show up sooner or later. So with that said then, this has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures, saying thanks for watching, and we will see you back here soon. Bye-bye!